It all started with a Samsung chip. Today, Apple designs its own silicon chip. This is the evolution of iPhone chips. The first iPhone used a system-on-a-chip design that combined the processor, graphics unit, and other key components into a single circuit. Designed by Samsung and manufactured to Apple's specifications, the chip was known as Samsung S5L8900, a 32-bit single-core processor running at 412 MHz on 90nm fabrication, and it was more than enough to kickstart the era of touch-based smartphones. The iPhone 3G kept the same Samsung S5L8900 chip, but improved its power efficiency to handle 3G connectivity. Then came the iPhone 3GS, which truly shined. Powered by a Cortex A8 processor running at 600 MHz and built on 65nm technology, doubling overall performance. It enabled higher resolution video playback, faster photo capture, and smoother animations for the first time. In 2010, Apple introduced its first fully in-house designed chip, the Apple A4. Although still manufactured by Samsung, the architecture was entirely Apple's own. It featured a single-core ARM Cortex A8 processor clocked at 800 MHz, built on 45nm technology, and paired with a PowerVR SGX 535 GPU. The A4 powered the Retina display of the iPhone 4, brought multitasking to iOS, and delivered significantly lower power consumption. Want more videos like this? Then hit the new hype button and help us grow this community. It's free, and it helps us a lot. Thank you. 1 year later, Apple released the A5, the company's first dual-core chip based on the Cortex A9 architecture, running at 800 MHz and built on 45nm technology. The CPU was twice as fast, and the PowerVR GPU provided 9 times better graphics performance compared to the A4. This perfect blend of power and efficiency made possible new features such as Siri and Full HD video recording. In 2012, the A6 marked a major milestone. It was the first chip with CPU cores fully designed by Apple, internally codenamed Swift, moving away from standard ARM blueprints. Built on a 32nm process, it featured a dual-core processor at 1.3 GHz and a PowerVR with 3 cores. The A6 was twice as fast as the A5. 1 year later, Apple introduced the A7, the world's first 64-bit mobile processor. Manufactured on 28nm technology, it featured a dual-core Cyclone CPU at 1.3 GHz and a PowerVR G6430 GPU, delivering up to 40% higher performance compared to the A6. Together with the M7 Motion coprocessor, it enabled Touch ID and more efficient background tasks. Launched in 2014, the Apple A8 ended the Samsung partnership and began a new era with TSMC as Apple's chip manufacturer. Built on 20nm technology, the A8 contained 2 billion transistors, twice as many as the A7, yet was 13% smaller in size. Its dual-core Typhoon CPU ran at 1.4 GHz, delivering 25% more performance, while the GPU offered 50% better graphics. With 1 GB of LPDDR3 RAM, the A8 was Apple's first chip capable of running complex 3D games with impressive stability, while improving battery life and supporting the larger display resolutions of the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. Released in 2015, the Apple A9 was manufactured by both TSMC and Samsung. Built on 14 and 16nm processes, it featured dual-core Twister CPU cores clocked at 1.85 GHz, offering 70% faster CPU performance and 90% stronger graphics compared to the A8. The new image processor improved noise reduction and local tone mapping, while the M9 coprocessor, now integrated directly into the chip, handled motion sensors and enabled the always-on Hey Siri voice command. With 2 GB of LPDDR4 RAM, a PowerVR Series 7 XT GPU, and NVMe PCIe storage, the A9 solidified Apple Silicon's reputation. The Apple A10 Fusion was the first quad-core chip designed by Apple and manufactured exclusively by TSMC using a 16nm process. It featured 2 high-performance Hurricane cores running at 2.34 GHz and 2 energy-efficient Zephyr cores at 1.05 GHz. The A10 delivered 40% faster CPU performance and 50% faster graphics than the A9. Thanks to a redesigned 6-core GPU partially developed in-house, it integrated the M10 coprocessor, a new image signal processor that was twice as powerful and included 2 GB of LPDDR4 RAM or 3 GB on the Plus models. The Apple A11 Bionic was the first Apple chip with a dedicated neural engine, capable of performing 600 billion operations per second, powering features such as Face ID, and emoji, and machine learning tasks. Manufactured by TSMC using a 10nm process, it contained 4.3 billion transistors and featured 6 cores. The chip delivered 25% faster performance on high-performance cores and 70% faster on efficiency cores compared to the A10, while the internally designed 3-core GPU improved graphics by 30%. It also integrated the M11 coprocessor and an advanced image signal processor that enhanced computational photography. The Apple A12 Bionic was the first Apple chip built on a 7nm process, packing over 6.9 billion transistors. It featured 6 CPU cores, 2 high-performance Vortex cores running at 2.49 GHz, and 4 efficiency Tempest cores, delivering 15% faster performance and 40% greater efficiency compared to the A11. Its 4-core GPU, designed entirely by Apple, offered a 50% graphics boost, while the 8-core neural engine, capable of 5 trillion operations per second, enabled third-party apps to leverage AI capabilities. The Apple A13 Bionic continued Apple Silicon's evolution, built on TSMC's 7nm process with 8.5 billion transistors. It featured 6 CPU cores, providing 20% faster performance while using 30% less power than the A12. The 8-core neural engine was 20% faster and more efficient, and the 4-core GPU delivered 20% better graphics performance. The A13 was optimized for night mode and deep fusion photography. The Apple A14 Bionic was the world's first 5nm chip, featuring 11.8 billion transistors. It included 6 CPU cores, offering 40% faster performance than the A12 and a 30% graphics improvement. Its 16-core neural engine could perform up to 11 trillion operations per second, enabling console-level gaming and full 5G connectivity. The Apple A15 Bionic brought a massive leap in performance. Built on the 5nm process and containing 15 billion transistors, it featured 6 CPU cores, 2 Avalanche performance cores running at 3.24 GHz and 4 Blizzard efficiency cores, along with an Apple-designed GPU with 4 or 5 cores, depending on the model. The A15 delivered 50% faster speed than its competitors and included a 16-core neural engine capable of 15.8 trillion operations per second. It also integrated a new image signal processor (ISP) and doubled cache memory at 32 MB, greatly improving overall performance and energy efficiency. It powered key iPhone features such as cinematic mode and the photonic engine. The Apple A16 Bionic was announced as the first 4nm chip. Containing 16 billion transistors, it featured 6 CPU cores, 2 Everest performance cores running at 3.46 GHz, and 4 Sawtooth efficiency cores, as well as a 5-core GPU and LPDDR5 memory with 50% higher bandwidth. It also carried a 16-core neural engine capable of 17 trillion operations per second. A new image signal processor could handle up to 4 trillion operations per photo, while the debuting display engine introduced the always-on display and dynamic island optimizations. The Apple A17 Pro was Apple's first chip built on the 3nm process, packing 19 billion transistors. It included 6 CPU cores, 2 high-performance cores running at 3.78 GHz and 4 efficiency cores at 2.11 GHz, delivering 10% faster speed and up to 3 times greater efficiency than competitors. The new 6-core GPU, fully redesigned, provided 20% better graphics performance and introduced hardware-accelerated ray tracing and mesh shading, bringing console-level gaming to the iPhone. With 8 GB of LPDDR5 RAM, a 16-core neural engine capable of 35 trillion operations per second, and support for AV1 decoding and USB 3.2 Gen 2, the A17 Pro became Apple's most advanced mobile chip ever, setting a new standard for realism and power on smartphones. The Apple A18 and A18 Pro were the first chips built on the second-generation 3nm process, delivering major gains in both performance and efficiency. Both featured 6 CPU cores, 2 high-performance cores running at 4.04 GHz and 4 efficiency cores at 2.42 GHz, and a 16-core neural engine capable of 35 trillion operations per second. The A18 included a 4 or 5-core GPU with up to 40% faster graphics performance and brought hardware-accelerated ray tracing and mesh shading to non-Pro models for the first time. The A18 Pro with a 6-core GPU was 20% faster than the A17 Pro, doubled ray tracing speed, and introduced an improved video encoder, a USB 3.2 Gen 2 controller, and enhanced media functions. With 8GB of RAM and 17% higher memory bandwidth, the A18 series marked the beginning of the Apple Intelligence era, delivering desktop-class AI and graphics performance on a smartphone. The new Apple A19 and A19 Pro chips pushed Apple's silicon to new heights, built on 3nm process. Both featured 6 CPU cores, 2 high-performance cores running at 4.26 GHz and 4 efficiency cores at 2.6 GHz, offering up to 20% better multi-core performance than the A18. The A19 carried a 5-core GPU, while the A19 Pro featured up to 6 GPU cores based on the new Apple X architecture, which doubled overall performance and introduced integrated neural accelerators for advanced AI workloads, achieving up to 4 times better graphics compared to the A18 Pro. The series also included a 16-core neural engine and a new N1 wireless chip, Apple's first fully in-house wireless solution, supporting Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, and Thread. The A19 Pro further enhanced the lineup with 12GB of LPDDR5X RAM, a ProRes RAW video encoder, USB 3, and a vapor chamber cooling system for sustained performance in gaming and AI-intensive tasks. From the Samsung chip of 2007 to the powerful A19 Pro, one of the most advanced mobile chips in the world. What do you think? How powerful will the next one be? If you enjoyed this kind of video, make sure to subscribe to our channel, and if you give us a like and leave a comment, it really helps us out. Thank you.